The Image Processing and Computer Vision program is a joint program between 3 universities: Pazman University, Autonomous University of Madrid, and the University of Bordeaux. This successful cooperation between the 3 of us enables us to offer a very dense and very comprehensive program. The first 3 semesters are spent in each of the partner universities, and during the last semesters, students prepare their master's thesis that doubles as their internship, and this goes for about 5 to 6 months.
Main topics, at least in Bordeaux, includes deep learning for computer vision, which is very, very important nowadays. Also augmented and virtual reality, which will be the main big thing in the coming years. But also what we want to achieve is to be able to show the students a lot of applicative fields, such as medical imaging or vision for drones and robots.
During the program, students do tutored research projects for which they have a supervisor from each partner university. These prepare the students for their thesis work.
I was part of the first cohort of this program. I graduated in 2016. During my studies, I've got a comprehensive tool set of all the image processing related methods and algorithms. We had some kind of midterm projects, and during these courses and projects, we got real life problems to solve. We made this project in small groups of 2 or 3, and I also learned how to start a new project from the very beginning and map some kind of real-life problem into the world of image processing and computer vision.
I had never had the opportunity of being surrounded by this amount of really, really smart, intelligent people in very different areas. Like, there's a lot of very socially intelligent people, a lot of emotional intelligent people, really book-smart people that follow everything by the book, and it's just like all this mixture kind of like goes into a pot, and you end up kind of like simmering in it somehow, and yeah, it kind of like changes who you are and expand.
It's definitely an unforgettable experience for me, especially it's my first time living in another country, which is like the opposite of my country, which is very hot. And I really like it because I'm learning not just academically how the education system works in Europe, but I'm learning about the culture of Europe itself and my international classmates as well from different continents.
Well, apart of all the knowledge you acquire in the IPCV, I think that what really enriches the program is the diversity of cultures and experience of study and living abroad.
We have a number of scholarships for prospective students, including ones offered by industry, and these provide possibilities for the best students to have a financial background during their studies.
So I would recommend this study program to students who have a good knowledge of signal processing, mathematics, and of course programming. Programming skills are very important.
The ideal profile for an applicant is someone with a strong knowledge regarding programming, mathematics, and a basic idea of data processing algorithms. Moreover, some prior experience in the computer vision field is also useful to accelerate learning.
I would recommend this program, particularly for those people who are very curious or who are like naturally problem solvers.
The ideal applicant for me, well, based on my experience, is someone who is well experienced in the field. Like, you don't have to show them very competitive grades. You also have other fields that you can make up your academic standing, such as internships, publications, and work experiences.
To prepare for IPCV, definitely make sure that you have the basics in signal processing. You have a whole summer before starting to study that, and you will need it for sure, so do that.
If you're up for a challenge and you're an aspiring computer scientist in the field of computer vision, this program is definitely for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the online open day of the IPCVai Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters Program. My name is Agnes Csima, and I'm a member of the International Relations Office at Pázmány Péter Catholic University. Thank you for joining us today. We are delighted to share with you plenty of information about this exciting program implemented by 3 internationally renowned universities: Pázmány Péter Catholic University in Hungary, the Autonomous University of Madrid in Spain, and the University of Bordeaux in France. Today, we will share with you detailed information about the structure and technical content of the IPCV program. Sorry, we are having some technical issues. Just a second. It's okay now. So we will give you detailed information about the structure and the technical content of the IPCVai program, as well as detailed information about the application and admissions procedure, finances, and available scholarships. We will also take time to share with you student experiences of current and previous IPCV students. Moreover, we are also here to address the questions that you have already sent us. For any further queries, feel free to ask them in the chat channel. We will find the most appropriate way to respond to your questions, either live in this online open day or later on in email. Based on the registration data, many of you have already started your application for the program or even finalized it. Additionally, we are pleased to have a good number of prospective applicants, attendees who are considering applying for this prestigious program in the future. We sincerely hope that in the following 90 minutes, we will be able to provide each of you with interesting information and useful tips regarding the IPCVai program, helping you to make your final decision. Before we start, I would like to ask you to do the following. Please indicate your full name and country in your login name. You can change your name when clicking on your data. Please turn off your microphones and keep them muted during the event, and use the chat channel to ask questions. And now let's move on to the first major block of our program today. I would like to invite Professor Christoph Parach, Vice Dean for International Affairs of the Faculty of Information Technology and Bionics at Pázmány Péter Catholic University, to deliver his welcome speech and to give a general outline about the program.
Good afternoon and good morning to everyone, depending on where you are from in the world. We are really pleased to be able to offer this open online day today. And I would like to shortly talk a little bit about computer vision. I'm sincerely hopeful that everyone is probably aware of what it is, but I would like to give or say some motivating words about it. And then I would briefly introduce the most important information about the program. We can proceed to the next slide. So computer vision is becoming ubiquitous, not only in autonomous driving or in healthcare. The next slide, please. And then we can also proceed then. But also at a number of other important places in the world for surveillance and even in everyday households. Yes, and the next slide, please, which will show us a 3-dimensional demonstration about a LiDAR-based object detection. So in many cases, when we say computer vision, we talk about traditional cameras, but 3-dimensional computer vision is getting more and more widespread. So I wanted to include a motivating example for that too. The next slide, please. One of the fastly developing areas of computer vision is actually object detection and segmentation. And this is just one quick overview of how the specification of segmentation developed throughout the years. You might be a bit familiar with this, but earlier when it was only single labels for images, then we went to bounding boxes, and then pixel level segmentation became the standard that is referred to as segmentic segmentation. And then recently instance segmentation and even panoptic segmentation, which is not even included here, have become the norm. And let's go to the next slide, please. So we will talk about all these a lot more if you come to our program and you get admitted. But now I would like to shortly give you the most important information on the IPCV.ai Master Program. This is an Erasmus Mundus joint master program with a seal from the European Union. And it is a 4-semester, 120 credit program that is run by 3 universities: University of Bordeaux, the Autonomous University of Madrid, and the Pazman Peter Catholic University. If you complete the program, you will receive a triple degree, so 1 degree from all the 3 universities. And job possibilities are really good and countless. Many of our graduates continue for PhD studies, but not everyone. Those who go to industry also sometimes do research-based work, but strong engineering skills are also something that you will acquire throughout the program. Please go to the next slide. So the objectives of the IPCVai program is to make our student innovators who will be able to work as creative experts, tackling diverse programs, either in industry or academia. All this will be founded by a comprehensive academic knowledge, and we will give you, in addition, modern and ethical managerial skills, so basically soft skills, so that you would be able to use your engineering knowledge for real-life situations. And the program structure in just one slide. It is a 2-year program. In the first semester, you arrive to Budapest, Hungary, here to the Pazman Peter Catholic University. And then for the second semester, you transition to Madrid in Spain. And the third semester, the complete cohort moving together moves to Bordeaux, France, to the University of Bordeaux. And then for the fourth semester, when you do your internship and master thesis combined, you can pick your own place anywhere in the world. But of course, we do offer a number of possibilities. Still, many students tend to find their own place. A lot of companies are really heavily interested in our graduates. We can proceed to the next slide. So at this point, we will shortly talk about each of the 3 semesters, the respective representatives of the universities. And as I'm representing the university where you arrive, I will be the one to start with talking about the first semester. So this is something you will spend in Budapest, and the Pazman Peter Catholic University, that is abbreviated PPKE. So if you see that, that is the Budapest University here, has a faculty of information technology and bionics. And this brings about our most relevant contributions and core competence for both education and research. For the IPCV program, the bio-inspired computing is a very beneficial advantage of our faculty. And the most important aspects of this include sensory processing, and are mapping to specific architectures and creating very efficient hardwares and algorithms for those hardwares. In the first semester, there are 4 main blocks of courses. The core courses is the most important one. This will include basic image processing algorithms, data mining and machine learning, fundamentals of deep learning, and an introduction to tutored research and development project, which will be something you will continue on during the next semesters. The second block is sensory processing, where you learn multimodal sensor fusion and navigation, as well as parallel computing architectures. And those courses that are set in italics, those are elective courses. High-level synthesis methods on field programmable gate arrays is one of our elective methods, and is a very good way to learn how to map your algorithms onto low consumption hardware. The third block is just signal processing. This comprises of the elective course biomedical signal processing. And last but not least, the mathematics and programming block contains numerical analysis and an elective course about programming design patterns. And you can also see a fifth icon here, the sports, which is obligatory according to Hungarian law. So you will have to do some sports during your first semester. So a short description of the 3 most important courses in the first semester. Basic image processing and analysis talks about the basic image operators, image enhancement, texture detection and recognition, as well as recovery, and basic segmentation methods and image descriptors. We can go on to the next slide. And the other 2 important core courses are data mining and machine learning, and fundamentals of deep learning. The first course introduces you to the knowledge discovery process and teaches you how to represent inputs and knowledge, tells you about a lot of algorithms, which are standard and basic in machine learning. These are mostly traditional algorithms, but very important to know about. It teaches you how to evaluate what you do. And we also teach ensemble methods here, where multiple methods are combined, and talk about the mathematical parts of it in terms of data transformation and hyperparameter tuning, which will also come up in other courses. Whereas fundamentals of deep learning talks about artificial neural networks, especially the basics, optimization techniques, how these can be trained, and then deep learning programming tools that you can use to create deep neural architectures. Then specific techniques for these architectures. And then we also teach you the widespread, well-known architectures that are mostly used for deep learning. And last but not least, I would like to tell you about the tutored research and development project, which you start in the first semester, but you will continue in the second and third semester by learning about state-of-the-art and doing experiments, and then proceeding to design and implementation. Professors from the other 2 universities will also tell you about this. And just quickly mentioning here the master thesis and internship that comes in the 4th semester. You can do it either at a commercial organization, company of your choice, or at a research institute, or at a university if you choose an academic lab. And here you can see the important parts that you will have to master for a successful master thesis. So having some theory, designing something, implementing what you design, writing a scientific report, and engaging in teamwork. So these are the most important aspects here. And with that, I would like to give the word to the next speaker.
Thank you, Professor Courage, for this informative introduction. And now please listen to the presentation by Professor Jesus Vespos, Associate Professor at the Autonomous University of Madrid, who will tell you about the second semester of the IPCV AI program. Professor Vespos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Agnes. Welcome, everyone. Just to complement some information given by Christoph, you should all be aware that we have been running this IPCV master for over 6 cohorts, and for the new edition that will start next year, IPCV AI, Artificial Intelligence, we have completely renewed our program in order to adapt it to this new revolution and to get our students into a market to be able to get all the potential of these disciplines with this new technology. The first semester, as Christoph has indicated you, is mainly devoted to core courses to establish, well, not really fundamentals, but basic concepts that we need for the rest of the program. Additionally, in the optional courses, some specific content can be delivered there. In the second semester, we deepened into these aspects and we concentrate in 2 specific areas. First, we have a block fully devoted to deep learning content. If any of you is aware of this content, it will be hard for you to find this kind of content in any master level program anywhere. So we are very proud of this offer. Well, this block is the first course, High Performance Computing for Deep Learning. This is a hardware-oriented course. You will be presented hardware for machine learning. Then some of the limitations, hardware limitations that we have today, information, the massively parallel architectures that try to solve this. The second course, in fact, 2 courses on deep learning, are 2 courses devoted for image and video signal processing. Here you will be presented all the architectures behind the learning models. You will be presented all the learning strategies, and you will present specific applications of IPCV using these models. Of course, we will also talk about sustainability, reliability, explainability, and all this nowadays. So actual contents of machine learning. This is the first block devoted to deep learning content. Then we include a course on 3D visual signal processes, because as Christoph has indicated, these new learning models now allow us to get very, very good results in areas that 1 decade ago was very difficult to get something working. Okay, so this course is somehow an introduction to this area, which will be further developed in the 3rd semester. Here you will be shown camera models to calibrate a camera, setups with multiple cameras, and you will be able to make a point cloud reconstruction of a 3D scenario. Well, so these 2 blocks are the main content of the 2nd semester. Apart from this main content, we have an Initiation to Research course 2 ECTS, which includes, let's say, soft skills, a workshop on writing and presentation skills, and several invited scholars, both from academia and from the industry, to try to explain or to try to deliver hot topics in this domain nowadays. And finally, we have the tutored research and development project. As Christoph has said, this project is introduced in the 1st semester. Here in the second semester, you have a 4 ECTS devoted to this project, which will be continued in the third semester. And mainly this is the content of the second semester. Next slide will show something on the schedule. Okay, here at UIM, the expected schedule is this. So we begin in February with the regular mandatory courses, exams at the end of May. You will have not only the opportunity, but it's a must. You should follow language courses in 2 of the 3 semesters. So here we offer Spanish language courses for those of you who want to learn our language. And in parallel, we schedule the writing and presentation skills and the scholars intervention. At the end of this semester, we prepare an industrial day, which is a joint event with all the companies delivering internship offers for the 4th semester. They will be presented here. And mainly this is all the information I wanted to explain you for this second semester at UAM.
Thank you, Professor Bescas, for your presentation. And now I invite Professor Fabien Baldacci from the University of Bordeaux to take the floor and give his presentation about the second year of the program.
Thank you. Thank you for this introduction. So I'm Fabien Baldacci from the University of Bordeaux. But you understood, we'll give you the third semester, which will be the last teaching semester before you go to the internship. So it will we will continue with the previous content and add some maybe more applied technical skills because we are the teachers from the Department of Computer Science in Bordeaux, and all the teachers, or almost all the teachers, will be researchers from the Computer Research Lab, because in Bordeaux, compared to maybe some other cities, all the researchers in computer science are in the same lab, which is a quite big lab with more than 300 members. We can move to the next slide. And so you will have teachers, of course, from computer science department and image and sound research department. Our main teaching topics for this third semester will focus on continuing the class about, of course, deep learning and computer vision, and adding some new concept, as you can see in this slide. So the topics you will continue on are the how to analyze images. You will have new architectures that are not addressed in the first year, and a more maybe project approaches about how to use those architecture to solve specific problem related to computer vision. And you will have a full course about explainable artificial intelligence, which is also a very hot topics to try to understand where those very nice results come from, not only to understand where it comes from, but also to optimize the architecture and the result we can get with this kind of deep learning methods. You will also have another course that is for the moment called Acquisition and Reconstruction and Medical Imaging, which is related also to 3D, but to 3D voxel images, how to acquire and reconstruct them and how to analyze them. Because after the end of the first year, you will have a good knowledge about 2D image acquisition and analysis from traditional camera, also 3D point clouds, but 3D voxel images are also specific because they are not acquired the same way as 2D images. That's you acquire them with very specific equipment that make different measurements depending on the equipment. And so you need a specific algorithm to reconstruct the images and to analyze them. So that's what we will address in our semester. And also an important aspect that is not covered in the first year is the rendering, 3D rendering, interacting with images using virtual reality hardware. And so this will also be a part of a full course in the Bordeaux semester. So we can move to the next slide. So this was the traditional computer vision classes, and you also have some what we can call translational courses. One that is very important also nowadays is a course to estimate and understand the environmental impact of artificial intelligence. That depends on both the hardware and the energy used to train those models. So you will have a specific course on this, and you will have the final step before you go to in industry or even in research. And that's what will be very important in this semester, because even if you build the smartest possible algorithm that gives the best possible result, if you are not able to code them properly, to provide a convenient library or software to use it, almost no one will use it. The most used algorithm and software are not necessarily the one that gives the best result. They are the one that have the most documented code on GitHub and that have the less bug when you try to use it. So this is why we want to focus on this. So you will have a course about software development, and you will continue the research and development project that you start in the first year, but most focusing on the research part. And here in Bordeaux, you will focus more on a development part to make your research idea working, develop the code, get some real results, and trying to have a decent code that can be shared with the community. And we also organize a special event where we invite many companies to present research opportunities, career in research field or development field, and also entrepreneurship. So you will have many presentations during your semester in Bordeaux. And I think we can move to the last slide before I run out of time. And a very important aspect I really want to emphasize, because that's also an important aspect of this program, is you make a research-oriented program, a very you will even define some new algorithm and concept, but you go until the real development part. So you will have half of the classes shared with the computer science student that don't have the same background as you in image processing or even in research, but that have a big background into developing software. And you will learn that software development is also a science, and we will ask you to have the same scientific approach when you develop software as when you make research. And that's important to get reproducible result software, to develop software so that everyone can have exactly the same result as you, and also have a scientific approach when you analyze the result you get on your even a research problem, because that's something that is really important. So that's the main idea of the third semester, continuing with the same aspect and one step forward into development and making a final product, and then you will be ready to go for your internship either in a research lab or an R&D department of a company, or even pure development in a company. And that's or for the third semester.
Thank you, Professor Malachi. And now we have a few minutes to answer your questions related to the content of the program. We will project a few questions that you have already sent us when you registered for this online open day. But if you have further questions that we are not answering in the next few minutes, feel free to use the chat channel to formulate your questions to the heads of programs. Please note that we will have another Q&A session at the end of this online open day about practical issues like application, admissions, entrance examination, finances. So now in this Q&A session, please focus on academic questions. So let's see what questions you sent us, and I will ask the heads of program to answer the questions that they feel that it's their task or their competence to answer. The first question is whether the IPCV Masters Program ventures into the medical aspects of image processing, such as solving diagnostic challenges.
Okay, let me answer this one. Yes, of course, specifically very much into healthcare and medical image processing, and not only goes into diagnostics, but even sometimes combined with AI into therapeutic suggestions based on the image processing results.
Thank you. The second question is of an applicant who's studying computer science. What skills does he need to join the IPCV Masters?
So those of you who were already here for the short video that we broadcasted at the beginning of the online day, you could see a number of suggestions. The most important ones, of course, do include a firm mathematical foundation that you could have mastered in all sorts of programs, programming skills, and signal processing. If you studied image processing to some extent, that's also a big advantage. But of course, we will teach you, as I already mentioned. And well, we don't really test that, but social skills are also nice to have if, I mean, that helps you integrating with your cohort.
Third question is, my major is geomatics of natural resources, where we focus on remote sensing, geoinformatics, and geographic information systems. As part of my final thesis, I'm using deep learning to count fruits on images and predict fruit yield. Am I eligible to apply for this program?
I would say it's definitely worth applying. If you are missing anything in terms of the basic requirements, you can also do leveling courses before you start a program. And if you have programming experience that is shown by your thesis project, and also have the necessary mathematical basics, then I think you would be able to follow the program.
Thank you. Is there an opportunity to apply and then continue with PhD programs after graduating?
May I hand over the answering to one of the other professors?
Yes, I might answer. Well, we have not this formalized. I mean, from our experience, many of the IPCV students have followed PhD programs after graduating, but we don't have any formal offer for this. I mean, some of them are following their PhD in one of the 3 universities, but many others are following a PhD in other universities throughout the world. It's important to be aware that the program is highly research oriented, so that you will be very well prepared for your PhD.
Thank you. What programming languages should I learn or review to prepare for the IPCV AI program?
I can answer. I mean, it just complemented one of the previous answers, because I see that there are many questions on your profile. We have had students with a bachelor on electrical engineering, on computer science, computer engineering, any engineering. We don't really. I mean, it's not a selection criteria that you have more practice with programming or in mathematics, or in, once you are selected due to other criteria, we will propose you some leveling courses if we consider it necessary, but you don't really need to learn or review anything in advance.
Thank you. How demanding is the workload?
High. It's quite high. Yes, our students, they are all very happy after the 2 years, but every year, I mean, students indicate that the workload is high, and that they would want some more spare time to make some tourism. So we somehow during the last years have tried to balance the workload in order for them to give them some more spare time.
Thank you. What devices are available in the laboratories of the 3 partner universities?
I can answer from UAM, but I think in all the 3 universities you have all the necessary devices. I mean, at UAM, normally the classroom is directly a classroom with computers, all of them equipped with GPUs, so that you can follow practical part of the subject continuously. It's important because we didn't say before that the courses are highly practically oriented. I mean, at least for the second semester, half of the teaching time is devoted to practical programming.
Okay, thank you. And as you can see, we'll go into student perspective, but before we do that, we have also received some questions in the chat channel or in the Q&A channel, and I will read one now so that you can answer. It's an applicant from Pakistan asking that at bachelor's level degree, mostly there are no publications at all at this stage. Can students without publications be considered for admission? And he also says that he has 8 months work experience as a Python developer. So the question is, without students without publications, they can be considered.
I think we already had a similar question in the Q&A. And yes, students without publications are considered, but an accepted publication either to a conference or even to a journal paper is definitely an advantage.
Thank you. And another question, it is whether a final semester project based on computer vision can count as research work.
Well, yes, of course, this is an advantage. If it has any novelty in it, then it can even be counted as research work. But if it does have novelty, then of course it's a good advice to try to get it published. Of course, that might not go through until the application process, but still it's possible to indicate that it's under review.
Okay, thank you. And we have just received another question. Where are the first students of this program right now? Where do the alumni work currently? So if you know anything about the career of your first students.
So the exact numbers change by cohort, but roughly 1/3 or a bit more would continue with a PhD. Another third would mostly go to research work in industry, and another third into development or smaller companies. And geographically, I'm not sure if that was part of the question, but they are really all around the world, from South America to Singapore, Japan, Australia, Africa, and all over Europe, of course.
Thank you. As I can see, there are no more new questions because most of them are being answered in the Q&A session by our colleague during the online open day. So since our time is limited, now we can proceed to the second major block of the online open day. So now we've finished this Q&A session. We will have another one about practicalities at the end. But now we can move on to student testimonies. We are glad that Irfan Baykara and Magna Ayer accepted our invitation to share their experience with us. First, I would like to ask Irfan to give us his testimony. He's a second-year student of the IPCV Masters Program who has just finished his semester in Bordeaux, and he's now about to start his last semester, including the internship and the thesis work. Irfan, the floor is yours.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Irfan. I'm from Turkey. Today, I had my last exam of IPCV in University of Bordeaux, and I'll be going to do my internship very soon. So I want to answer a couple of questions that might be asked by future students. From my point of view, I want to talk about a bit about challenges. What challenges would you guys expect to have during the master? So, since this is an Erasmus Mundus program, you'll be traveling from one country to another. We had our first semester in Budapest, second semester in Madrid, and third semester in Bordeaux. So, when it comes to challenges, the most challenging part for me was moving all the time in different cities and different countries, finding accommodation, integrating into their culture, and doing sometimes many paperworks. If you ask me what I can suggest to overcome this, there is no suggestion. It's just gonna happen, and you're just gonna see the next step on yourself, and you're gonna keep going. But when it comes to traveling a lot in Europe, this will be a major challenge, and at the same time, this is the most beautiful thing about this IPCV program. It gives you a chance to live in 3 different countries, at least 3 different countries in 2 years. When it comes to the international nature of the program, I had a chance to have many people from different continents. We have a colleague from Korea, Syria, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Turkey. And in that sense, not only professionally, also socially and culturally, it influenced each one of us. So it was not just a growth in our career path, it was also a personal growth for us that enabled us to understand and make sense of the world better. And if you are living with 12 people in 3 different countries in 2 consecutive years, your problems are more or less the same. Your objectives in the lives are more or less the same. So you easily become a community. So you somehow create your collective conscious and you start acting together and you feel like you are a part of a big family. So I think in IPCV, one of the most important things that left its mark in my life is that I created this huge family all around the world, and I really appreciate for this. And like when it comes to professionally helping each other and socially helping each other, many people were coming from different backgrounds here. We had some like computer science graduates. We have some biomedical engineering graduates. I'm myself an industrial engineering graduate, which had nothing to do with computer science in the first place. So bringing all this perspective and like putting them in the same place, you can take advantage of like getting the ideas from different domains, different expertise, and it increases your intellectual capacity as well as it increases your professional capacity and understanding the domain even better. So I said it before and I need to rephrase it. That was one of the most beautiful 2 years in my life. I had really beautiful time. When it comes to each country and negative sides of it, I would say Budapest is cold. Be careful and bring your jacket. Bordeaux is a bit expensive. You better keep your budget. And Madrid is perfectly fine. And if it's really good, it's hard to stay at home and study all the time. So these are the things that I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Irfan. We have one more testimony to go. Meghna graduated from the IPCV program in 2021, and she's now a PhD student at the University of Bordeaux. Meghna, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope I'm clear. I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna try to answer some other pieces of questions. Like, what about the IPCV program appealed to me when I actually made the choice? Okay, it was a little bit easier choice for me because from my bachelor's, I was very clear. I need to do research. I love images. I love computer vision. I'm going to go there. LLMs weren't a thing then. So it was an easy choice for me. And at that point, there wasn't any other program which was so specialized. And also, guys, I'm slightly older than you all. I applied in 2019. I finished my bachelor's in 2018. So there weren't many specialized AI programs around the world. And IPCV was a tailored fit. And as you have seen with the subjects, it ranges from everything in computer vision. It's not just, okay, I'm just going to look at CNNs and be done with it. But you will get to see a lot more of things. You may like some, you may not like some, but you at least will get to experience them before you make a choice of, okay, in computer vision, in which direction do I want to go to? Everything is not just the few topics that are making the news, but there are more things to it, which I think this program will show. And as Irfan said, studying in 3 countries, why would we say no to it? Also, the traveling part, again, as he said, you're all going to travel to different places together. So with all the logistics things that you have to look at, there is a team at each of the universities who will look at it and help you out. And also you are all standing in lines together to get the paperwork done, because there are a lot of international students along with you trying to get the same paperwork done. So you won't be alone is what I would like to say. Going into a little bit more about the curriculum, which I want to talk about is that though the subjects, as you see, are very varied, some parts of it get updated through the years, because I personally have seen the curriculum that Irfan had studying is not exactly the same thing that I studied, because it was 2 years ago almost. So what happens is the basics are the same. And because your professors are mostly researchers at their own labs, they add the intermediate stuff, which is where the practical coding part, everything comes in. These form the foundation of your courses. And the end of it, towards the last couple of lectures, you get to look into what their current research is also. So if in the last 2 years, some part of that last 2 slides have advanced and become better, they get integrated into the course itself. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just learning the basics, but also an updated basic for every year is what I've seen, which I'm very, very happy to know, because oftentimes some programs get made and they are like that until some big change doesn't happen. But with IPCV, at the end of every year, we also give our feedbacks regarding the courses and everything. And every year we have seen some integration of all the suggestions we have also put in as alumni into the courses and into the topics of the curriculum itself. So yeah, that as an alumni also makes me happy to see that the program is updated. And okay, another thing, before you join, it is always good to have some basics of programming. It's not just one particular programming language, but in any language, if you have some basic coding idea, it will let you learn more from the course and understand the concepts rather than getting stuck with learning how to code once you have started the program. So some basic math is integral for any kind of deep learning or AI. So some basic linear algebra or basic calculus, if you have it, very good enough from my side for the program. These are the two things that I personally would like to suggest that you be comfortable with before you start the program itself. Also, interestingly, once you are done with the program, you will have 3 diplomas to show everyone. It's not always the easiest way to explain why you have 3, but once you say it's an Erasmus program and you did it in 3 countries with all these different topics, it makes for a good conversation starter. And I have interviewed for both industrial positions and some PhD positions, and honestly, they make for really good conversation starters. And the Erasmus Mundus tag gives it a lot of credibility. Along with, once you give the names of the university, they are also known around the world. And so in both the cases, I haven't had any issues with, trying to explain why 3, what did you do in all these countries or what was happening. Everything is fine afterwards. So yeah, I think that's the basic stuff. After I finished the master's, I worked in a company for a year. So that was good. I had no problem getting a role. It was a startup and it was a French startup. And oh yeah, the last point I would say is more than the curriculum, the university, cultural, social, tourism, everything else, what this allows you to do is be at a place where networking is easily possible. You get to travel around, meet so many different people, look at so many labs, and you are not restricted to the university that you are at currently in. There are many good research teams around Europe too. So all these universities give you a starting point. So once in Madrid, you can see other universities, visit them easily. In France, there are many good teams, which you may be able to identify by talking to your professors once you start the program. So networking will be a big plus point because of the geography and the travels that you will do. So yeah, I think that's it from my side. If you have questions, you can ask me now or later on. If you can find me on LinkedIn, I will be happy to answer more of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magna. And thank you both of you for the student perspectives. Now we shall start the third major block of the open day. For unforeseen reason, the person our colleague who's in charge of the admissions and application process and all these practicalities, she cannot join us today. So it is my task now to share with you the most important practical and administrative information that you need to know about applications, entrance examination, finances, and a lot of other topics. Thank you for being here with us and sticking around. I know it's a lot of information, but you'd also need this information, the practical side, in order to get going with the IPCV program. So admissions. There are certain admission requirements that you need to meet in order to gain admission for the IPCV AI program. You need to have a bachelor's degree in engineering science, mathematics, computer science, or signal processing. In your previous study program, so in the bachelor's program, your average grade should be at least good. And you also need an adequate knowledge of English, both oral and written. We say that it should be equivalent to a B2 level according to the European Framework of Languages, the CEFR. So if you pass any internationally acclaimed language examination, there you will find this rating, whether it's a B2, C1. We require at least a B2 for admission. So if you meet these requirements, then you can apply for the program. And the admissions procedure is made up of 3 rounds, as you can see in this slide. The first round is the eligibility check. That's when our colleagues check the documents that you submitted. We will have a slide about this later on, what are exactly the application documents that you must submit. So they will check your documents and also the data that you provide about yourself, your studies in the application form. So based on this eligibility check, the admission committee will decide whether you are eligible to go on with the admissions procedure. And if they consider you eligible because everything is fine, then comes the second round, which is the phase of pre-selection. This is the moment when the admissions committee will examine your relevant academic track record, particularly in the fields of image and signal processing, programming skills, and mathematics. And they will also take a good look at your motivation letter and your recommendations, because these are also important factors that to take into account when it comes to selection. And those applicants who successfully go through this pre-selection phase, they will be invited for an online interview. And this is at the end of the third round, or after the third round. That is when the decision about the admission will be made. So practically your entrance examination is the online interview itself. Another important question that many of you want to know about probably is finances. As it has already been mentioned, the image processing and computer vision master's program is now again an Erasmus Mundus joint master's program. And this means that a limited number of candidates may get the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Since this is an excellence program, this scholarship can only be offered to a limited number of candidates, obviously those who achieve the highest scores at the entrance examination or in the whole admissions procedure. This means that they won't need to pay a participation fee. This means that for them the program will be free, in the sense that the tuition fee will be paid by the scholarship, and they will also get a monthly scholarship of 1,400 euros. Obviously, there will also be self-financed students, so not all the students will be scholarship holders. The program is open to self-funded students as well. They will need to pay a participation cost. This participation cost includes the tuition fee and the cost of medical insurance. The participation cost is 4,500 euros per year for students coming from program countries, and 9,000 euros per year for students coming from partner countries. Now you might ask, what is a program country and what is a partner country? If we take it in the broad sense, then more or less a program country should be the equivalent of an EU member state and a partner country of non-EU countries, but this is not an exact match. So we strongly advise that you check out the program guide, where you can find the list and there you can see whether your country belongs to program countries or to partner countries. So this is just a rough equivalent, but not an exact one. So please make sure to check the program guide to specify the status of your country of origin. The scholarship, the Erasmus Mundus scholarship that some of you will get, and the participation cost that self-financed students will pay, covers the following items that you can see listed on this slide. It covers the tuition fee, which means that you will have access to all courses and workshops. It covers assistance from the student services of the partner universities, all 3 partner universities, obviously. You can also use the libraries of these universities, use the labs and other IT infrastructure, and it also includes medical insurance, private medical insurance. As Professor Karat has mentioned at the beginning of this online open day, there are various scholarship opportunities. We have talked about this Erasmus Mundus, but you also have Erasmus Plus scholarship opportunity. This is available to self-financed students only. They can use it for studies, so they can apply for an Erasmus Plus scholarship for their 2nd and 3rd semester. And they can also apply for Erasmus Plus scholarships for their internship in the 4th semester of the program. They may apply for the scholarship at any of the 3 partner universities, so in Budapest, in Madrid, or in Bordeaux. There are also some national scholarships that IPCV AI students may apply for. For example, the Eiffel Scholarship in France, and there are certain industrial scholarships as well. You will receive more detailed information about these when the time comes to apply for them and and when they are offered to students. And the application deadline is the 4th of February, so you still have a bit more than 2 weeks to submit your application. In the slide, you can see the list of application documents that you have to submit. We need a CV and Europass template. We need a copy of your bachelor's degree, the academic transcript of reports of your studies. We need a motivation letter where you explain why you want to join the IPCV AI program. We also need you to submit 2 recommendation letters and an English language certificate. As I have already mentioned, it should be of at least a B2 level according to the European Framework of Languages. You also have to submit an ID photo, a copy of your passport, and a financial resources declaration. This refers to students who apply or who can join the program as some self-financing applicants. And the application takes place through the program's own website, ipcv.eu, and I'm sure you already all know this website really well. You may want to follow us to be up to date with all the news concerning the IPCV program. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. You can see the links here on this slide. And obviously, you can always contact us by email. You can see here 2 email addresses. One is the central email address of the program at the University of Bordeaux. And the second one is the address of the International Relations Office at the Pázmány Péter Catholic University in Budapest. So this is briefly what we wanted to tell you about admissions, application, finances, so everything in a nutshell. But you have sent us various questions concerning these technical issues. So we also prepared them for projection. So we will try to go through them and give an answer to each of them. And of course, if there are any more questions that come up during this event now or during the Q&A session, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A channel. So the first question is, what is the entrance exam? It is different from the online interview. And if yes, how it will be taken and when? Well, as I have said, the entrance examination is practically your online interview, and it will take place through a video call, entirely online, and it should take place in late March or in April. I have done my bachelor's degree at a university where the medium of study was English. Do I still need proof of English proficiency? In this case, you don't. If your BSc studies were conducted entirely in English, and if you can prove this in any way, then you will be exempt from providing any other language proficiency. So most likely you will need to submit a certificate of English as medium of instruction. And if you submit that, then we will accept your bachelor's degree as if it were your language examination or as a proof of English proficiency. The same holds true for students who did their bachelor's degree in a country where English is one of the official languages. I have an English language proficiency letter from the university I graduated from. Is that acceptable? No, unfortunately it is not. You must have an official and a recognized English language certificate corresponding to a B2 level. Basically all internationally recognized language exams are accepted. So you can think about TOEFL, IELTS, Euro exam, Oxford Test of English, Cambridge exams, IBT, and there are many more. But you need an official internationally recognized language examination. So we don't accept like university placement tests. And a similar question, is a Duolingo English test certificate accepted as a language certificate? The answer is again, no. I'm afraid we do not accept it. We need a more official English language certificate. How many students per year are selected for the IPCVai program, and what are the main considerations? The maximum number of students for each cohort is 25 to 28. That's like the average number. And I think about the main considerations we have already talked about in the previous part of the presentation when we discussed what criteria are taken account in the phase of pre-selection. I have a master's degree in computer engineering and a bachelor's degree in electrical computer engineering. Can I apply on the basis of the master's degree or on the basis of the bachelor's degree? The master's degree is more relevant to this program. Well, in theory, you may apply based on either of the two, but since your master's degree is more relevant, maybe it's better to apply based on your computer engineering master's degree. What is the minimum number of reference letters? We need 2 reference letters, and these letters should be no longer than 2 pages per reference letter, so 2 pages per each, written in English, and they should be presented on an institutional headed paper, and they should bear the referee's signature and an institutional stamp and or seal as well, so that we can say that they are really official and true documents. When will the results be announced? The official results are to be expected towards the end of April. A question about visa application. Does the IPCVai scholarship cover visa application costs for applicants? No, you don't get extra money for visa application, but since the Erasmus Mundus scholarship holders receive quite a substantial sum each month, you receive 1,400 euros per month. you won't have problems with financing the visa application. So you will need to use your monthly stipend for this purpose. Is the Erasmus Plus scholarship available to IPCV students? Yes, it is available, but only to self-financed students. Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship holders cannot apply to any other Erasmus type funding, so they will get the Erasmus Mundus, and self-financed students can apply for Erasmus grants at either of the 3 partner universities. What are the selection criteria? Is the admission process holistic, or do you only consider the academic records of the applicant? As we have already mentioned during the online open day, the members of the admissions committee will assess your academic track records, obviously, particularly in the fields of image and signal processing, programming skills, mathematics, but they will also take into consideration and seriously your motivation, based partly on your motivation letter and on your online interview, and they also take into account the recommendations that you bring. Are there any other scholarship programs available apart from Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters and Erasmus Plus? Well, the consortium offers these 2 types of scholarships. However, you may, of course, try to find other scholarships as well. For instance, the French government offers the Eiffel Scholarship for the semester in France, and there might be industrial scholarships also that are worth considering. But please note that finding these opportunities is your own responsibility. So probably the universities will be able to provide you with some information, but you will also need to do your own research on further scholarship opportunities. Will it be possible to work while studying, specifically if I work within the same field? Theoretically, yes, it is not prohibited. But you may remember what Professor Beskas said about the workload, that he said that it's high. So you have to take into account the demanding workload of the program, and students often realize that they need to fully concentrate on their studies in order to be successful in the program. But it is not prohibited, so practically it's up to you. Is the program available fully online or in a hybrid format? The answer is no. Your physical presence is required. And do the 3 universities provide student housing or dorms for IPCV students? I can tell you about Budapest campus, where self-funded students can apply for dormitory spaces, and Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship holders will receive help from the university in finding other housing solutions. And these are the questions that we have received in advance. I will now check the Q&A channel to see if there are any more questions. In the meantime, if the heads of program feel that they need to add something to the answers given to the questions, feel free. There's a question about transferring undergraduate course credits into ECTS. If we can provide any suggestion how the applicant can transfer these. I have to say that we do not have detailed information of how you have to transfer the results of each country of the world into ECTS. So it is your task at the time of application to find out more on how you can transfer your results into ECTS.
So maybe I can also add something to that and to the Erasmus question. So first of all, you have the legal right to apply to submit a transfer request for any credits that you already own. However, you have to be aware that transfer requests are evaluated based on the course program. So whatever the actual material that the given course has covered. And according to the statistics we see, most bachelor courses based on which some student tried previously to transfer their credits were not accepted because of the low amount of coverage of the given material. So this particularly is true for basic image processing, for example. So for those of you who did study, it is not impossible. But when you realize the depth of what is offered during the course, most of the transfer applicants realize that they indeed need to do.
Thank you. There is another question, and maybe the heads of program will be able to answer that. It refers to the difference between program and partner countries. So if any of you have more information about where this can be found and what is the difference between the two, so that the applicants have an idea. And another question, if anyone can answer that, is about the calculation of scores of the candidates. If there are any questions that...
Sorry, my mic was off. I was trying to answer the first question, even if I don't have a 100% answer. I think program and partner countries are defined on European website. I don't remember if we put the link or not on our website. Maybe we should put two. It's somehow European country and non-European country, but not strictly. I think it's European country plus some others, and then the remaining countries. But I saw a question, and you cannot choose if you are from a partner or program country. You are from a country, and automatically will be considered as a program or partner. Maybe, yes, if the information is not on our website, we can ask to add the link to the website of the European Union.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the second question was related to sport, something like that?
Yes, about
so I have no clue about
calculation of
this.
scores during the admissions procedure.
Yeah. And Christophe? He's gone.
He's coming back. He's having technical issues, but he'll come shortly. Yes.
If there are some other questions, just one past question I can answer also. Dormitories from Bordeaux, also for self-funded students. We have dormitories available for those students, as in Budapest.
Perfect, thank you. We received two more questions. One is if someone who hasn't received their bachelor's degree yet can apply, then the answer is yes. Obviously, you will need to graduate in the spring semester now so that you can start your program in September already having your bachelor's degree. But if you don't have it right now because you're still finishing, you can apply. So there is no problem with that. And another question referred to an issue with passports. If you don't have a valid passport now, whether you can apply, we would say that you should go on and submit your application, but please send an email to the official address that you saw in this slide, and that you can find on the IPCV.eu website as well, to our colleague who's in charge of all these procedures, and she will come back to you and give you a definitive answer. I'm checking the Q&A to see if we have more questions. Whether the study in all 3 universities is in English, no need to know other languages. The language of instruction is English, only English. You may need some French or Spanish or a few words in Hungarian just for everyday life, but not for your studies. So there's no problem with that. You can do it entirely in English. And someone is also asking whether he holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science Engineering and currently doing the Masters in Computer Science. Should the courses took during the Masters program be submitted along with the application, or is it enough with the Bachelor? What do you say?
Submit all. Anyway, we will review all what is relevant. So bachelor, master, if any, work experience, research, any experience, anything. The whole CV will be reviewed.
Perfect, thank you. There was also a question about tuition payment. What the tuition payment schedule is. We can tell you that when you get your notification that you are accepted for the IPCV AI program, which would probably take place in May or at the end of April, then you will have 2 weeks to pay 10% of the tuition fee as an advance payment or as the first installment. So 10% of the tuition fee will be due in May, more or less, but you will receive notification about that. And the remaining 90% will have to be paid later, around the start of your studies or just before it. And we have one more question about applications. It is whether a separate application should be submitted for the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters Program or scholarship, or if you apply for the IPCV program, then the scholarship application is automatically included. So if there are 2 separate applications, or it's enough with one, with the main IPCV application.
There is only one application and one platform. I'm not sure I get all the question, but only one application. That's for sure.
Okay,
on the Mundus platform, you fill everything and then you get accepted or not, and with a scholarship or not.
Perfect, thank you. And in the same question, they asked about deadline, which the 4th of February, and the application process. Well, we have just gone through the whole application process in the last quarter of an hour, so I'm not going to go through it again. You can find all the information on the IPCV.eu website. And if there are no more questions, then it's almost time to call it a day. If any more questions occur to you that you couldn't formulate during this online open day, you can always send us an email, and we will come back to you with the relevant reply. So your questions will be responded. And with this, I think we have reached the end of our online open day about the IPCV AI Joint Masters Program. I hope that we have managed to show you how the IPCV AI program is the perfect combination of marketable knowledge and a lifetime experience. Feel free to contact us if you have further questions. And don't forget that the application deadline is the 4th of February, so don't leave your application to the very last minute. Thank you for participating in this event. Thank you to the heads of programs and to the alumni as well. And we are looking forward to receiving the applications and to welcoming you in September as our new IPCV students. Goodbye.
Goodbye.